Hello everybody, Tristube here. If you are new to Tf2 and taken a liking to Pyro, then you might be struggling with his greatest asset, Airblast. In this video, I will explain some of the methods to getting better at airblasting. Now just as a quick disclaimer, this video is only to help you get better at airblasting. It is in no way an answer key or a guide to become the best Pyro main ever, just a few tips that I have used to improve my gameplay. So without further ado, let's get into it. First off, we need to discuss what exactly Airblast is and how it works. Airblast is when a pyro shoots out compressed air from his flamethrower to deflect projectiles and to push enemies back. It's great for defense and crowd control, and it's also really fun to blast opponents off ledges and cliffs for environmental kills. Depending on where you aim or how you angle yourself, the direction of your airblasted projectiles or players is dependent on you. For example, if you airblast downwards and there's an enemy in front of you, you will thrust the enemy player upwards. Or if you want to deflect a soldier's rocket right back at the soldier, putting your crosshair on the soldier and airblasting will cause the rocket to change trajectory and barrel towards the soldier for mini crit damage. Be mindful of where you angle your flamethrower when you airblast projectiles too, because you will deal self-damage if the explosion happens near you. There are more advanced tricks you can do with airblasting too, like using an enemy soldier's rockets to perform your own rocket jumps, but all that stuff is really difficult, and we don't need to get into that just yet. Now unless you're using the Phlogistinator, Airblast is compatible with every flamethrower, so don't worry about switching out your favorite flamethrower or waiting for weapon drops to improve your overall gameplay. Now that we have the basic stuff out of the way, let's get to work on some bad habits that need to be broken, and some tips to help improve your airblasting. One of the new things I see players struggle with is timing. Timing your airblast can be very difficult, so the number one thing you'll want to remember is patience. Soldier and Demoman like to wait for a pyro to airblast first. This is because pyro experiences a delay between when he can airblast again. So if you panic and airblast too early, a soldier or demo would follow up with a counterattack which would leave you defenseless. It's important to stay calm and focus on your target. Don't airblast if they don't shoot at you first. It doesn't help that Soldier and Demoman have different weapons that have different travel speeds and projectiles, such as the lock and load and the direct hit. So quickly try and profile the player's weapon to anticipate the differing projectile speeds. If that sounds difficult to perform in the heat of the moment, you can always fall back to your teammates and avoid any potential conflict that would result in you dying. A similar topic to timing that I see new players struggling with is the distance at which they can deflect projectiles. I will admit, even I struggle with this sometimes, so it helps to increase your game's FOV to your liking. I like to use 90 degrees. Increasing your FOV can help you see where a rocket is and can help you deflect more accurately. There really is no secret formula for timing a deflection by distance, so it really comes down to practice and getting a feel for the rhythm. It also helps to strafe while pressing M2, so when you see a projectile flying towards you, you can move out of the projectile's trajectory and airblast when it hits that Goldilocks zone. Since you will be angled away from the soldier by strafing, it's best to instead aim the deflected rocket at a nearby enemy player. But if it's just you and the soldier, strafe out of the rocket's way and just wait for the next rocket instead of wasting the ammo. Demo's bombs are trickier than Soldier's rockets, however, as the grenades have an arc and different travel speed, making the timing a little less predictable. Don't let that stop you from countering a cocky demo. Practice makes perfect after all, and every time you die you'll get a little bit better. Another bad habit I see players get into is airblasting too much. Spamming airblast, especially if you aren't using the stock flamethrower, is very dangerous. Remember, airblast borrows from the same ammo pool as your primary fire, so using the airblast too much can leave you with no ammo to fight back against approaching targets. So to avoid spamming airblast too much, try and use it more defensively than offensively. Charging at projectile-based enemies may seem fun, and sure, it could secure you kills, but it also leaves you vulnerable to an enemy's teammates once you're out of ammo. Airblasting too much can also make you very predictable, and the enemies will take advantage of this by either avoiding you entirely or timing their projectiles between airblast charges. So after all that, what are the key things to remember? Don't airblast too much, use it defensively, strafe around projectiles you can't airblast, airblast at the right distance, and be patient. This may seem like a lot to remember, but after getting a lot of practice in, it becomes like second nature. But where do I get in all of this practice? Well, you could just binge casual games as Pyro and train that way, but casual players aren't exactly the best teachers. I would recommend playing Pyro Dodgeball or Airblast Dodgeball, a community-made TF2 game where a rocket will follow pyros around on 2 teams. Your objective is to airblast the rocket and send it flying towards an enemy player. Your team wins if you can eliminate the entire enemy team. Since the enemies can't interfere with your focus by attacking you, you're free to get in as much practice as possible to experiment with the optimal distance, the timing, and honing in your muscle memory. Playing Pyro Dodgeball has definitely helped me get better at airblasting, and while I am certainly not the best in the world, I feel confident in my abilities to where I can fight back against a good soldier, demo man, or even huntsman snipers. Of course, deflecting arrows is notoriously hard, and even I struggle with that. So remember that you may not be the best in the world, and you will 100% still die in casual games to projectiles. That doesn't make you a bad player. Everyone makes mistakes. Messing up your timing, letting your anxiety take over, that's easy, especially when you're up against real and unpredictable players. I hope this video helps you improve at airblasting. If you guys have any feedback, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos by yours truly, then please hit that subscribe button below. I will also be leaving my Twitter and Twitch in the description. I'm live every Sunday. Thank you guys, see you in the next video. Peace.